Jen, great to see you. And I'm even more excited to see you in person in 3D at HR Tech next week. If you would, please share what you're going to be talking about next Thursday at 1:30.
Thanks, Al. So next Thursday, Kim Mork, who is my partner in crime, and I are going to have the pleasure of sharing with our HR Tech audience the new world of work and how it's threatened by AI legislation, not just in the United States, but across the world. And it's AI legislation that is actually more than AI. And I think that's what's so grossly misunderstood, that it is automated employment decision tools, which is data, analytics, homegrown tools, but all the things that have been laying out there within the systems and the beautiful experience HR has been working on and hearing so much about next week in HR Tech. And so these foreboding types of threats and legislation that's already passed, such as New York, are out there, and HR is really wrestling with these things.
Yeah, yes, they are. And you're inspiring me to recall a slide that Josh Bersin put up years ago, where the pace of innovation is far outpacing the legislation that is in
Mm-hmm.
place and even being thought of. However, now arguably it's catching up. There's in whether it's catching up or not, there's more of it, and organizations thus have to respond. So, do you believe organizations are responding appropriately, and is there enough investment going towards understanding the legislation and accommodating those constraints?
So within the HR world itself, I think HR is just now looking at what's going on, and it really starts right now with New York City. Because even though we're working with firms across the world, it's New York City that is getting the most attention. And here's why. New York City started with making vendors account for AI and automated decision making, because that could be workflows and, again, data analytics, the ability to search and match on things like recruiting and sourcing and things in assessments. They started with making vendors assess for these things and examine and audit their systems. And in December of 2021, they did this thing in the last few days of December, and they decided to put employers on the hook. And employers now have to account for their entire sourcing, recruiting, and promotional process, as well as pay. Now employers are on the hook to account for that. And employers did not realize that that changed. And it sounds awfully dramatic, but that changed and it was codified. And that is what's catching all of the CHROs and chief talent officers off guard and very surprised. And so we're often bringing this information to our CHROs because it has to radically change not just the laws and the policies, but all the experiences and the designs, because that law is making now the organizations have to acquiesce to not just providing the experiential piece for New York City residents to apply online and give them a choice to say, here's all of our information on how is non-biased, how we've tested for disparity in our systems, and hopefully reduce the bias in there to be able to state that. But if you don't like or feel comfortable with our processes by January 1st of 2023, here is a non-automated process that you can go through.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah.
this is imminent. If it's not in your jurisdiction or area of business right now, the
Right.
tide is very evident. And so there's much to discuss. And obviously, we don't have all the time right
No.
now. And we're going to be talking about it
No.
next week. But I want
Mm-hmm.
to share to our listeners that you and I are collaborating on a people data
Yeah.
governance survey to shed light
Yeah.
on not only how organizations are prepared or not prepared, to deal
Mm-hmm.
with this, but what resources they, in fact, are going to need to stay ahead, so they're not constantly on the back foot. So, if you would, share your thoughts and hopes for that survey.
Yes, I'm really excited about this because what we're finding is that legal and IT resources, which have always led from an enterprise data governance strategy, legal and IT are also very befuddled because these types of changes, and it's not just New York, there's EU law and Canada law, and certainly federal, state, and other local laws in the United States alone that are now going into effect. And looking at the EEOC proposed changes, there's tremendous acceleration now. So that's beyond New York. And so if HR, has had so much AI and recruiting going on for years, HR is about now to get gobsmacked with all of this. This is a big reality. And you can't rely on just domain stakeholders of IT or legal to take this on. It requires HR leading this. So this is new territory. And for HR to lead this, they need an entirely new set of skills to be able to inspect vendors, to be able to inspect their ecosystems, and all of the different policy and administration to be able to change policy and all the change management that they need to roll out to their stakeholders on answering a whole new set of questions around AI, fairness, quality, transparency, and explainability. And if they don't lead it, that's where the regression on HR strategy, we fought so hard for the seat at the table. We fought so hard for digital transformation in this future of work. And having the COVID acceleration helped show how valuable and critical HR is to the senior stakeholders. We want to keep that and accelerate it. So in order to build not only the budget, the staffing, and the prioritization of this strategy, we need to have this survey out there to understand the principles of what you and I are so passionate about in data governance, and how data governance is so key to people data strategy, but more than ever, it is a criticality to exist for HR.
Amen. Absolutely. Amen. Well, Jen, I again look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for collaborating with me on this initiative. As a listener, please look out for the survey coming down next week, and we'll be publicizing this in the weeks and months ahead. So, thank you, Jen.
And I'll be sharing it in my session.
Yeah. Oh,
because you'll be coming.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Again, HR Tech next Thursday, September 15th at 1:30. So, Jen, any closing comments before we sign off?
No, I'm thrilled to see HR Tech. I'm a long-term fan and attendee of HR Tech, so I'm thrilled to see everyone there. Please reach out in the meantime if you're not attending, and love to connect and share the information on data governance as well and get you connected with the survey, because it'll be very meaningful. We're looking forward to sharing the results and how this business case will help you in your organization.
All right. Thanks again, Jen. We'll see you soon.